this is, I think, one of the reasons that a lot of celebrities turns into monsters. Hi, and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Sashti Flo, and here on my channel, I talk about my good and bad experiences in Hollywood, working as an entertainment reporter, and as you know, a lot about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's legal drama. Okay, so as you know, it never ends. It gets worse every day. And I'm trying to keep on top of everything. And sometimes I miss things. And sometimes I don't always report on all the legal filings because I think there's so much and there's so much fluff. But this information that some of you guys sent to me, and I watched the video myself, I find quite interesting. So yesterday, Candace Owens did a podcast where she could reveal that someone had contacted her and exposed who actually contacted Justin Baldoni's team from Taylor Swift's camp. It's obvious that it must be someone really close to Taylor Swift because not a lot of people would know that she had received a text from Blake Lively demanding her to delete conversations between them, text messages between them, which would be really like, deleting evidence. And also, not a lot of people would know that Blake Lively's attorney had been contacted by Blake Lively's attorney demanding her to support her publicly. If not, Blake Lively would leak 10 years of private text messages from Taylor Swift. So Candace Owens, as I said, received a tip from someone that the person who actually leaked this information to Justin Baldoni's team is none other than Scott Swift, Taylor Swift's dad. It does make sense if it was him who did that. As I said, not a lot of people would know about this. And Taylor Swift knows how to keep information private. She's not the kind of person who would just talk to anyone about everything and hope that no one finds out. And the fact that her dad and her are very close, and her dad is a very successful businessman, and the Taylor Swift brand is worth so much money. Can you imagine the damage it would do to her brand if 10 years of text messages came out? Not only would it hurt her, but it would hurt everyone working for her. And this is a massive empire. So, of course, her daddy wanted to protect his daughter, which makes completely sense. And at the same time, Taylor Swift would kind of be protected because it wasn't coming from her. And the thing is, Taylor Swift was put in such a horrible position here because if she had come out and done what Blake Lively wanted her to do and support her publicly, that could have backfired big time when everyone found out that Blake Lively had been lying and Taylor Swift was supporting that. And maybe Taylor Swift even knows it's a lie because who knows what were in those text messages between Taylor and Blake that Blake wants her to delete. So it was kind of a catch-22 position that Blake Lively put Taylor Swift in, which she probably regrets now because now she lost a friend forever. And I think just by doing that in the first place, how could she think that she could still be friends with Taylor Swift after threatening her and, blackmailing her like that? How could they ever be friends? So, yeah. I don't know if this information is ever going to come out. If it was her dad, it's alleged, as I said, so I don't know. But to me, it does make sense. Another podcast that some of you guys sent me to watch is Kristin Cavallari's podcast. She interviewed a makeup artist and he spoke about Blake Lively. I think he just confirmed what everyone else has been saying about her. He said that she was a nightmare to work with and everyone knew about it.
I can't stand Blake Lively for reasons. Like I have reasons why I cannot stand the woman, and I've heard it for years. And I always say in Hollywood, if you hear it over and over that someone is an absolute nightmare, at some point it's going to come out.
Yeah, these things do tend to come out eventually, and sometimes they will blow over. But with Blake Lively, she makes sure herself that this doesn't blow over. He also talked, the makeup artist here, his name is Justin. He also talks about how people around celebrities are treating them. And, I've seen this happen so many times myself firsthand. Even journalists are the worst. They suck up to these celebrities. Like it's really like revolting to watch. And then, of course, when they're not listening, they talk behind their backs. But this is, I think, one of the reasons that a lot of celebrities turns into monsters, because they are used to everyone just like worshiping them. And that's like everyone from makeup artists, to whomever is around them, stylists, even their publicists. Everyone around them is just doing anything in their power to please them and for them to like them. And I think that is one of the big problems that creates this narcissism, because they're just used to being worshipped. And then when that doesn't happen anymore, like it did with Blake, it's just like this big shock for her that, hey, I can't believe this. This can't be true. People cannot not like me. That's impossible. I have to blame someone for this. And that's why she sued Justin Baldoni, because she could not handle the fact that people didn't like her. There's also a story about Ryan Reynolds' business partner, Rob McElhenney, and his wife, Caitlin Olsen. They're interviewed in Variety. And as someone pointed out, of course, they have to have Ryan Reynolds in the headline of the article just to connect them. This person is saying, notice how RM and KO, referring to Rob and his wife, article in Variety, had to also put Ryan's name in the title. Like, can't they get an article all to themselves without sharing the limelight with these gross people? Good point. Also, of course, Blake Lively was out quickly to post on her story that she really loves this couple. Now that she doesn't have any friends, like I said yesterday, I think John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are really taking a step back from them. And as we know, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are far gone by now. So now she's just clinging on to Salma Hayek and Rob and Caitlyn, obviously. She shared a photo on her Instagram saying that they're great parents, not just to their kids, but to everyone in their orbit. We love sharing life with you both. So even Daily Mail did a story about how cringe this is of Blake Lively. She is just desperate to show that she still has some friends out there, except her sisters, that I think are her friends by default almost. But she's really like, it's so cringy. And then she keeps doing these things, and then the media keeps picking it up and making stories about it. And she just continues. I don't know, there's something wrong. Also, some good news here. Wayfair Studios is in Cannes promoting their new movie that they produced, Scarlett Johansson directorial debut. It looks like on the picture that almost the entire team is there. Jamie Heath is there. It's good to see him. And of course, I think Justin Baldoni would definitely have been there if it wasn't for all the mess that Blake Lively created for him. But yeah, it's nice to see them together anyways. And I hope Scarlett's movie is good and that they get some cred for it. And yeah, I feel sad that Justin Baldoni isn't there though. Okay, so yesterday I mentioned that John Krasinski is not following Blake Lively, and it's weird. And I think that he probably unfollowed her because they were working together closely in the movie If, and their families have been really close. They've been celebrating things together. His wife, Emily Blunt, went to Blake's baby shower, and they keep crediting each other on social media. So it's weird that he's not following her and she's following him. Anyway, someone pointed this out to me in a comment saying that John Krasinski has a close brotherly relationship with Rainn Wilson, who was his co-star in The Office for 9 seasons. The two of them have remained close, apparently. And Justin Baldoni has described his relationship to Rainn Wilson as a spiritual connection and as a dear friend and spiritual brother. Also, Justin Baldoni appeared on his podcast Soul Boom, where they talked about masculinity and vulnerability. And so yeah, I think they're pretty close, and it could be the reason, could not be the reason, could also the reason could be that they've been watching Blake and Ryan in the media and are just like, no, we do not want to get involved in that. And I think now when Taylor Swift has really come out and taken the stand that she has, it might help other celebrities to do the same. And it's interesting also to see how the media is reacting now, because there have been a lot of the traditional media have been very pro Blake Lively. And now, if they're very pro Blake, they're kind of anti Taylor Swift at the same time, which they don't want to do. So it's a slippery slope right now. And yeah, I'm enjoying watching it from the sideline. So yeah, it's all pretty fascinating, and we'll see where this ends, you guys. I just wanted to read one little thing from The Guardian. Someone sent me this. Thank you so much for sending me this article, because I spoke about Preserve the other day. Daily Mail did a big expose where they spoke about 6 former Blake Lively employees who had a horrific time working for her company, and all 6 of them were just like slamming everything that happened there when they were working there. And 3 of them had even sued Blake Lively, and her publicist, Leslie Sloan, had successfully buried all of this stuff until this week. When this brand came to life, The Guardian did a story, which is quite funny, and it explains very simple what this brand was all about. It says here that Blake Lively's Preserve lifestyle site, another pandering mess of e-commerce. Lively follows in Gwyneth Paltrow's footsteps, sprinkling regular goods with some fairy dust and selling it to the common people. So here is an explanation of what Blake Lively was selling on her page. Preserve is a combination of the last year's 2 most annoying buzzwords, artisanal and curation. Yes, there is a $40 salt and $25 barbecue sauce. There is a $400 wooden heart with Christmas lights and a $164 skirt that only comes in extra small, which will look great with this $95 bike basket made out of crate. So she only produced this skirt in size extra small, and she's the one accusing Justin Baldoni of fat shaming. Anyways, it continues. Blake herself has hand selected all of this wonderful stuff just for us. She writes in her editor letter, I'm no editor, no artisan, no expert, and certainly no arbiter of what you should buy, wear, or eat. And then they comment, then why create a site where you tell people what they should buy, wear, and eat? And would you really trust a site made by a person who just admitted to you that she is really bad at her job? Anyways, that's what The Guardian said 10 years ago when Blake Lively launched this site that lasted for less than a year. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching Flossom Talk. I really appreciate all of you so much. And yes, please let me know what you think about Taylor Swift's dad being involved in the comment section. Do you think it was him? This drama and saga just continues. It's like a telenovela that never ends. Anyways, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Flossom Talk. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.